Hey, Peter.
Hurry up, man. You're wasting time today a lot.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
I'm Adam Maness.
And I'm Peter Martin.
Are you listening to You'll Hear a Podcast?
Daily jazz advice coming at you.
Fast enough for you,
Well,
buddy?
it is. I mean, I was. Oh, wait. We joke because we love.
Today's episode is brought to you by
Soundslice.com.
Soundslice.com.
Did you forget?
No, of course not. Go to soundslice.com/transcribe.
Yes.
I'm just trying to waste time. To be
Also,
honest.
go to soundslice.com/community.
Oh, yeah.
Did we mention that?
I seem excited because I am excited about the community. It's a great place to go check out.
Not just because we're featured on it. We are. Open Studios prominently.
You
featured.
could check out Open Studios' theme song, Emotion in Motion, on soundslice.com as well.
Right.
What a great sponsor. What a great tool. A great transcribing tool. Great learning tool.
Great team. Great software.
Oh, man.
Elegant software.
Developed by musicians, for musicians. Go check it out.
Yeah.
So today, we're talking about, I'm going to slow it down here a bit. I don't want you to freak out.
Yeah.
Talking about learning new tunes, we got a speak pipe from Pierre.
What's up, Pierre?
Hi guys, it's Pierre from France. Big fan of the show, big fan of Open Studio. I have a question for you guys. In a recent episode, Peter started playing Coltrane's solo on Giant Steps, and that got me thinking, how do musicians remember so many tunes? I'm always impressed by musicians who can start comping or soloing on any cold tunes at a jam session, because for me it's pretty hard to remember a single tune for more than a week. So how do you approach learning a new tune, for instance, the melody, the chord progression, etc.? And how do you make sure it's set in your memory so that you'll be able to play it a few weeks or a few months later? Thanks for your advice. 21 star reviews. That's 7 stars for each of you guys because I included Andrew. And thanks. Cheers.
Nice. Shout out to Andrew.
A little love for Andrew. I like it. Thanks, Pierre.
Yeah, man.
Pierre
Great.
from France. First of all, I just want to say I'm so impressed when we probably half of our SpeakPipe voice messages, and I will just remind everyone, you can leave us a SpeakPipe if you want.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Not you, not me. We're not allowed to.
I might.
Okay. At you'llhearit.com. So
right.
please go do that. But probably half of ours are from other countries.
Yeah.
And the level of English that's spoken, like I speak a little bit of French. Je parle un petit peu de français parce que je suis américain. Je ne parle bien le français. So anyway, like I said, yeah. But their English is so much better. I know, but I'm so impressed. So I want to thank you guys. Although now I'm thinking I am including Canada in other countries, so that's not as impressive. But the non-English speaking, and UK.
We'll take the international love wherever we can get
exactly.
it. Canada.
Yeah,
It's
but
fine.
thank you, Pierre. Awesome English. And then just talking about remembering things in general, I would recommend ginkgo biloba. I'm not a doctor, and this is not approved by the FDA, but that's a good way to remember things. No, let's talk about some real ways to remember. And he's asking about learning new tunes, but I think that the real emphasis is like how to learn them, to really internalize them and know them for life. Like to long-term memory of a new tune, not just learning a new tune on a superficial level.
You know what number one is, right?
Routine? No, that was yesterday. Listen.
Yeah.
Yes. We are so darn consistent here.
Number one is listen always, and it includes learning new tunes because if you could sing it, you should be able to play it.
Right.
You know, if you have listened to a tune so much that you can hear where the changes are going to go, you know where the melody is going to go, even if you've never played it. Has that ever happened to you where someone calls a tune that you really don't play at a jam session or on any occasion, but you've heard it so much on a recording that you can pick it out, no problem?
Yeah. It would at least give me a little bit of, courage to be able to try to do that, and then you're kind of listening in the moment, and then so it's a kind of a combo listening thing that really helps you push you over the finish line.
But having that deep understanding of the tune because you've listened to it a lot, because you understand it, that really helps me. So I would say, Pierre, when you're learning tunes, and I love to do this anyway, go find as many versions as you can. Find the ones that you love the most and listen to them as much as you can as you're learning the tune.
Yeah.
And you will absorb it in a way that's deeper than not.
And maybe away from, certainly at your instrument, but even more away from your instrument. I mean, I always think like the ideal way to learn a new tune is to know it so well, never sitting down at your instrument first,
Yep.
that you've got such a head start to learning it. Now, what happens is we get excited about stuff, we hear it, and we immediately want to learn it. There's nothing wrong with that too. But in an ideal world, I think you want to be kind of constantly listening to. You have to be careful because you don't want to be listening to so many different things that you're not listening deeply or repeatedly, where you can get to that point of like true absorption of it before you start. So you have to limit what you're listening to, which is
Yeah.
hard nowadays.
Yeah.
When you've got access to so much great music from so many different directions. But you want to listen to it over and over again, as you alluded to, stuff that you really like, stuff that you love, and so that you can have that head start, have it in your ears. But I would say, what do you think about this? I mean, this is something I've never been that consistent with, but I've done some that kind of like when you cross the line from listening to a tune that you want to learn into actually kind of trying to start to figure it out, maybe map out the form a little bit, start thinking about like some strategies for learning before you even hit the piano.
Yeah, no, I'll think about the form for sure, and
Yeah.
I'll try to pick out changes if I can.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yeah.
before I hit the piano.
Yeah.
But this brings up another great point.
Yeah.
And this is still dealing with listening. Is don't learn the tune ever, if you can help it, off of a real book or sheet music.
Right.
You know,
Right.
go to the source of the tune that you want to learn, the version you want to learn.
Is that Evian in France? In France, the source for water.
No, but learn
Okay.
it from the recording.
Yeah.
If you have to reference it with the chart later,
Yeah.
first of all, the real book is wrong in a lot of these cases. It's not as accurate as the recordings are going to
Exactly.
be. And you will, again, learn it so much deeper by picking it off from the recording at your instrument. And
I
this is
agree.
after you've already kind of maybe mapped out the form in your head away from the instrument and can
Right.
sing the melody. You know how it's going to go.
Right.
There's
Right.
no surprises. And then you sit down at the piano and you figure out, oh, okay, that's an E flat 9, not an E flat minor 9. Okay.
Right.
Little details, maybe the intros, the outros, all the things that get lost in the real book.
Yeah.
The counter melodies, all of that stuff.
Well, and then certain that's such a great way to such an organic and lovely way to learn music, and it really, when we talk about different ways to learn and kind of progress and move through anything in the arts or sciences or poetry or really anything in this world, like kind of absorbing it and learning it in a way that it's best presented. So we would think about like sculpture, like what would be the best, most organic way to learn about sculpture? It might be like feeling it, like what does it feel like, as opposed to like reading about it or listening to a podcast about it, whatever.
Yeah.
And so like music, the reason we're always like listen is because that's the medium that music is presented. We're not like watch. I mean, you can do
Yeah.
that, you can watch
Yeah.
videos, but it's really about listening to the music, because that's our creative process is coming from that. So it's like
Yeah.
we're reverse engineering the whole process of what the hell we're trying to do.
No one who's not a musician sits there and reads music for fun.
Right.
To get that information. They
Right.
listen to music.
Right.
And so we need to, and especially this is the tradition in jazz. I know it's different in classical music, but
Right.
in non-classical music, pretty much across the board,
Yeah.
we have to listen to this music. We have to learn it by ear.
Well, I think classical music was actually originally not that different. It was just that
Agreed.
it came up in a time when there weren't recordings. So like,
Yep.
because people talk about, classical conductors are reading the scores and stuff, but they're also listening. Like when they look at a score, they're hearing it.
They listen to a lot of different
listen
versions
to
as
it,
well.
yeah.
They go hear live versions. They listen to famous recordings, and they're
Yeah.
trying to interpret the actual sound of it as well.
Yeah.
But you're right. There were no recordings when, especially like the Romantic, the classical period, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so that was a tradition to hand down the music. There was no other way to pass it down.
I forgot I was wearing that. Big shout out to Adidas, by the way.
Yeah.
No, but the other part about staying away from the page as long as you can or as much as you can is that certain kinds of tunes, mini tunes, can appear more complicated than they actually are, and certainly less organic than you might be feeling them as you're listening and kind of loving and passionate about that music, and then you're trying to kind of translate it to your instrument. So it can become a barrier and make something seem more complicated than it is. Kind of like if you learn how to, directions based upon some very intuitive sort of feeling, like where the sun is, and like to how to drive around town or walk somewhere, and like you use I don't know, like the sun and the time of day, like things that we've kind of gotten out of the habit of,
Yeah.
actually, because we're like, let's go to the GPS.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you do it like that, then it can be much more intuitive, you
Yeah.
know. So like if you're looking at
You're actually
giant
getting more
steps,
information.
you're getting more information
Yeah.
in the right medium. And so like giant steps on paper can look super complicated. And look, it is a complicated
No,
tune.
but if you read it on paper, you're reading. But if you listen to the recording, you hear immediately that first difference is
right.
that bass line and the way that changes how
Well,
you
that's
hear
just
it.
yeah. Now you're just getting into the inaccuracies of, or just the inability for the chart, even a well-made chart,
Right,
to
you
really
couldn't-
represent everything that's like that
You
you're
couldn't
hearing.
really do that in a lead sheet and
Yeah.
be accurate with it. It
Yeah.
would be hard.
And if you did, it would become very complicated. You'd be
Exactly.
overwhelming,
Exactly.
and you know.
But that's why we go to the source. That's why
Yeah.
we go to the recording,
Yeah.
because that little bit of information is great to have. Even if you don't play that, to know that that's where the original sounded like is
Wow.
good to have.
Hey Manjara,
And what?
that's Nigerian for go to the water, to the source. Yeah, hey Manjara.
The other thing I would say on this, I mean, and I know listening took up most of this, and it's true.
Yeah.
But the other thing that you could do that I like to do is just play the heck out of it. Call it at every jam session you go to. Put it
Yeah.
in your set list every time you play.
Yep.
If you're playing a duo session with a friend, call it. Don't
Yep.
be afraid of it.
Ooh, I've got a great ultimate tip today. You're gonna like it. You know it, but you're gonna like it.
Did you think of this
That's-
before we started?
I
or
just thought of it. I just thought of it. Ooh, me likey.
But don't you agree that
Yeah.
you got to play it? You got to play it
Repetition.
in different scenarios. Make your friends learn it. Make sure that you're all playing this stuff. That's what all people who are learning a repertoire are doing.
Faith comes by hearing.
That's
The
right.
good book told you that one.
And then, other than that, obviously take it through different keys, learn different versions.
Yep.
But really be patient.
Yeah.
I think you'd be surprised at how many great musicians don't have a huge repertoire.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, there's the classic stereotypical New York pianist who knows, 385 tunes.
1,000. Oh no. Yeah.
And all the verses and intros and can
Yeah.
play it in all keys with any singer ever.
yeah.
But we're not all Bill Charlap.
Exactly. I was just thinking of Bill. When what you just described, I'm like, you mean Bill Charlap
And all his buddies, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
But they're great pianists who don't have a huge repertoire. They have their repertoire that they like and that they want to present to the world, and that's okay too.
And plus, I think what we just outlined and what we're talking about today is really a way of deeply learning tunes so that you will remember. And that's really what Pierre was asking about too, like where you really know them and you can recall them years later, months later, weeks later,
Totally.
decades later. That's different. I mean, you could go through and learn hundreds of tunes, but not learn it in the right way, or push through it so much you didn't really learn it.
Yeah.
And this whole thing of like I'm a big proponent of trying to memorize the tune as you're learning. It takes a little bit
Absolutely.
longer, and so that ties into this whole thing of like going straight to the source, trying to stay away from that lead sheet as much as possible.
Yep.
So that you can, then you're forced to memorize as you go. So at least you don't have to go through that step, because a lot of people get stuck on learning it, and then if they don't have the music, I'm like, you don't know it. If you're that's just reading the music. If you're a good sight reader, and we know some great symphony players, they can sight read anything.
Totally.
So in theory, they know an infinite number of songs. If that's all it takes to know a song is to be able to read
But
it.
that's not what this is about.
That's not what this is
And it's
about.
really about finding your repertoire. It's about finding those tunes that are going to stick with you. Do
Yeah.
you think there's ever going to be a time in your career where you're not going to play Sophisticated Lady at this point?
No.
Because it's part of you.
Yeah,
It's part of
yeah.
your what you present to the world, and you do it
Exactly.
beautifully. And I have those too, and that's what we all are
Yeah.
trying to shoot for: is not to just know tunes just to know tunes, but find the music that we want to put out there in the world.
Yeah.
you know?
Speaking of that, our sponsor, Soundslice, we just like to mention them. It's going to seem like, wow, well, how do they fit into this? Actually, they fit very nicely. Into
Very
this, I think.
nicely.
Because
Yeah, you want to learn a new tune.
yeah, everything is based there upon the audio or the video version of it then being synced up with actually transcribed notation, sometimes lead sheets or whatever, but that can really give you that framework to have the notes there to assist, but you're never losing track of that reference recording, which I love. I mean, it's such a great way to learn. And then if you want to do some transcribing and documenting of something that you learned, a new tune or solo, whatever, they've got the premier system for doing that, getting that input and synced up in a beautiful and elegant way. Awesome software. Highly recommend.
Love it.
Soundslice. We use
Love
it.
it.
We use it all the time.
Love it. Okay, so what's our ultimate tip?
Okay, well, before we get to that, we got to talk a little bit about our other sponsor, Open Studio, because this is a very exciting week for us.
It really is.
We kind of, slid right into our new platform and announcing that because we're so excited about our new course, Jazz Piano Jumpstart, that we collaborated on, our most structured and beginning, for the novice, for the neophyte, for the ultra beginner of
7
jazz
weeks
piano.
to jazz piano mastery.
Come on, get off your couch and get on the bandstand.
Okay,
Let's do
lawyers
it.
won't actually let us say that.
That's right. Oh yeah, I
Because
forgot.
it's it's not true.
It's not true. Sorry, I totally didn't. Yeah, you're right.
No, but it is 7 weeks, $77 typically.
Typically,
Yeah.
But not for our listeners. We're giving them $10 off.
Yeah, how do they do
We
that?
committed to doing it. Coupon code, offer code, not a coupon code, offer code at the top of the checkout page, JPJ10.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
Is that right?
Yeah. And it's on our brand new
JPJ10.
platform, openstudiojazz.com.
Jazz.com. Right.
We're so excited about this because it's like driving a Ferrari. It's so fast.
It's fast AF, and it's beautiful and simple AF. And I know a lot of you are gonna be like, "What about the old platform?" This is the same Open Studio, the same great teachers: Christian McBride, Diane Reese, Peter Sprague, Adam Maness, Gregory Hutch. Everybody's coming over, and we're gonna be sliding over the coming weeks. But really, this new course is our opportunity to present the new platform and the new course, and we think it's going to be the beginning of some great things.
We're going to be able to add
Sound Slice, of course, is still there.
Sound Slice is still a big part of it, but we're going to add great new features like practice routines, quizzes. I'm really excited about all on this new platform.
Oh, the new All Access Pass is going to be the bomb.
my
We're not ready to
gosh.
announce
it's not ready yet, but
it's going to have a whole You'll Hear It component. That's going to be very exciting.
But go over to check out the Jazz Piano Jumpstart, kick tires for us a little bit.
Exactly. Ultimate tip.
We got.
I forgot what. Oh no, I remember. Okay, so for learning a tune, you mentioned something that was just in passing that I think is important as far as learning in different keys. That's actually a great way to learn the tune, even if you only played in the original key.
If you perform it in the original key.
If you only perform it in the original key, learning it, at least practicing it some in other keys, does something to your brain where you really kind of know it long term because you're learning it in some different ways. So that's really good. And then the other side of that I love to do is learn, especially if you're a pianist. Well, even if you're not a pianist, do it on the piano or the guitar. Learn the melody and the root movement first. And only those, and then take those through a few different keys. Don't worry about the inner harmony or anything. Once you know that, you really know the form better than you think. And you start to, what it does is it forces your ears, number one, listen, to be able to have to fill in that harmony.
Yeah.
So you're kind of holding back a little bit on that. But I find that you learn a tune, especially standard tunes, bebop tunes, a lot of different kind of tunes, but standards, kind of more standard repertoire. You learn it in a way so deeply that you'll never forget. I still think about giant steps like that. You know?
Oh, it's so true. Yeah, you learn that melody, that bass line. That's like 3/4 of the way there.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And we've got a great listener song going out today. We've been having some fun with these. We're getting some compliments. Folks are excited to be on the podcast.
Yeah, you can, if you want to have your song played at the end of the podcast, just send a MP3 to andrew@openstudionetwork.com. Email him that MP3, and if it's good enough,
maybe we should do like a Shark Tank type episode.
A competition.
With these. Yeah, sometimes.
That'd be fun. This is great. This is A Few Blocks Up by Michael Anderson from Brisbane, Australia. Thank you, Michael, for sending this in. Check it out, and until tomorrow,
You'll Hear It.